If I sound sharp and more lucid to you, it's because I quit eating marijuana last week. I told you last week that I was very close to giving it up again because of the way I felt, and it was true. I just woke up. Tuesday morning was the last time that I ate it. It was Tuesday the 25th, and Wednesday was the first full day that I didn't have any. And one thing I noticed about it was that quitting marijuana when you're eating it on a regular basis seems to be easier what you go through in the process of quitting to not do it. You don't have the same kind of withdrawal you do when you smoke it. That's one distinct difference I noticed. It was not as aggravating this past week quitting it. Marijuana I started smoking when I was 21 because I got these new roommates, and one night they're like, "You want to get high?" And I'm like, "What? Okay." And it was pretty extraordinary. I remember getting high, and it was such a profound change of perception. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced anymore cognitively. And I think these kinds of descriptions are why people are like, "Ooh, I want to try that." And I remember even the morning after trying marijuana when I was 21, I told my dad, "Dad, I tried marijuana." And he told me this wise, sagely advice he gave me at the time was true. And I think I just told someone this in the kava bar in the last couple of days. I said, be careful what you try because it can become a mode of life before you know it. And back when I smoked marijuana regularly for 19 years, with the exception of very few breaks that I took. One time I took 6 weeks in college. That was about 1998. And then when I got married in around 2005, I took about 5 months off of marijuana. And then on another occasion, I took some weeks. I think it was 3 weeks. So there were periods when I took very short breaks. And honestly, most of those 19 years, I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to quit this thing. And somehow there's something for me personally, I don't know how it is for everyone, but I quit because I became very mature. I quit around 40, and one of the primary reasons was not only was I becoming more mature, I had a new child at the time, and I didn't want her to see me high all the time. And so it was important to me to stay sober for her. And this is an important why. It's a good, honorable, noble inspiration to quit, is that you want to do it for your child because you want to model good behavior for your child. I don't get much credit from certain people. And even when I told her about it, she was like, you should do it for yourself. And it's a valid point. I should do it for myself. And I want to do it for myself. That's why I'm successful when I quit, is because I have been sober for many years now. Since I was 40, I spent the vast majority of that time totally sober. And the beauty thing is, once you get used to that sobriety, again, after being spaced out for all those years, you realize how valuable it is, how much you like it. And then so when you go back to doing the drug and you get past the fun point with it, I became a slave to it again. I hate being a slave to it. And then it makes me feel foggy, and I feel like I'm always chasing the high instead of getting the high I want. So when you first start something again, when you have no tolerance, it's like, I enjoy it for a few days. And it was very creatively meaningful when I did it recently, to be honest with you. But I enjoy it for a few days, but that euphoria that is very special about it goes away. And I just, and then I'm left with this kind of sinking darkness. And so when I was telling you last week that I wanted to quit again, it was because I was really experiencing that very uncomfortable, I'm on this drug all the time, but I'm not really high. I'm just maintaining my slavery with it. I'm maintaining what I have to do not to be grouchy or whatever. So I also miss dreaming. When I use a lot of marijuana, my dreams completely stop. And when I stop using marijuana, my dreams become vivid and memorable. And of course, those of you who have been watching for a while know that I like to talk about my dreams. And so I actually personally miss dreaming when I'm using marijuana, and it is an incentive for me to quit marijuana. And I also think dreaming is an important process psychologically. It helps people unwind in their life. There's some kind of emotional purpose to it. There's some kind of rejuvenation going on when you're dreaming. And I can't speak to it all scientifically, although I have read a wonderful book about sleeping that talked quite extensively about dreaming. So I quit the marijuana this past week again, and for the moment, I'm determined with this because I have some important things coming up where I really needed to have all of my cognitive ability and my wits and my sobriety and my lucidity to explain where I'm coming from with something that is enormously important in my life, something that I'm not going to talk about right now, but that's very true. So, I mean, I encourage you, if important things are happening in your life, and if be honest with yourself, for God's sake. If you have a hard time doing something, or if it's causing you a problem, don't be in denial about it. I've heard so many people be in denial about their drug use, and it's like, I know, because I made all the same mistakes early on, and you just have to evolve and try to grow as a person and realize you can quit if you genuinely get to the point where you want to quit. But I also understand, like I was doing it last week, and I'm like, oh my God, when you're slave to it, you're like, can I do this? And I have this track record now when I cut it out for long periods of time, years at a time, many times years at a time now, which I'm very proud of. I have this track record now where I just recognize it's better for me, and it gives me the confidence that if I stop it, it may be irritating for a few days, but I get over that hump and the mind eventually stops obsessing about wanting to do it.